Global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Global Happenings Today YouTube channel. Some hours ago, Nigerians woke up with a rude shock when the news broke that the EFCC boss, Bawa, has been sent to Kuje prison. Of course, a lot of Nigerians are waiting to eventually, hopefully, see him in prison robes, but alas, Bauer himself have said to react to the court conviction and reveals his next move. But before we go into the news proper, kindly click on the red subscribe button beside it. You see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified. As soon as we update our channel on YouTube, where the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Abdul Rashid Bawa, has reacted to his conviction by a federal high court in Abuja as of Tuesday. Bawa was convicted for contempt of court presiding judge Justice Chizoba Oji in a ruling held that the chairman Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is in contempt of the orders of this honorable court made on November 21st of 2018, directing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Abuja to return to the applicant his Range Rover Supercharge and the sum of 40 million naira. He having continued willfully in disobedience to the order of this court, rather, he should be committed to prison at Kuje Correctional Center for his disobedience and continued disobedience of the said order of court made on the November 21st, 2018, until he purges himself of the contempt. Bawa, who appeared before the House of Representatives Committee on Anti-Corruption to defend his agency's budget on Tuesday, said the law would take its natural course. Well, we have appealed against it, so we will allow the natural course of the law to take its effect. A lot of Nigerians are wondering if that has happened. The first thing that should have naturally have happened would have been to see him first taken to Kuje prison, then he will now appeal. But alas, I don't see him going to Kuje. But as at when he was given the mandate on Tuesday, he was actually appearing to defend the budget of his agency, which means though the verdict had been passed, but has probably not been executed, though he has filed an appeal on that effect. Nigerians are wondering what's really going on with executing verdicts made by Judiciary. Let's just feel the pulse of Nigerians very quickly on this matter. This one here is saying you're supposed to be in prison while appealing the conviction. You are not above the law if not for this APC failed nepotistic government. Another person here says, remember it has been like this even since the era of the PDP. Another person here says, I don't really understand you. So because it was like that during the PDP era, it should continue in this era. Nigerians are wondering, is this a political thing? Law is law. And that person here saying, this Nigeria where money and power break law and nothing will happen. And that person here says, ASU couldn't appeal until they obey the country. But Bawa was in front of the House of Rep, while he ought to be in prison. Seeing all this nonsense, how can an average policeman or an army or even a Nigerian be patriotic, and without patriotism, how can a country progress? And that person here says, your observation is right. ASU could not appeal but told to obey the court before it could appeal. This government will continue to rubbish this country in the face of the world. As in, what Nigerians are bringing to fore is the fact that similar situation happened with ASU, where ASU wanted to appeal. They said, no, you have to obey the injunction first. When you finish obeying, they cannot appeal. That's what happened. That was why ASU had to immediately call up the strike, and they were paid half salaries at some point. And when they realized that the ASU members were ready to take the strike to the next level, if it means scrubbing the educational system, so be it. And they had to, I think the federal government made the reverse, made the U-turn, and are willing to pay them the full salaries for the month. Let's see how it plays out though. Promise is promise. Until it's been effected, it still remains as promised. Unfortunately, that's how Nigeria is. This one here is saying, is that how we're going to run this country? Some people are above the law. Another person here says, well, and no be this guy way faint as he they talk for one conference the other day. You go kukuma kick bucket once he enter prison. See am sef small liver with stubborn head. Dis one here say but the fainting fit be drama o. I don't think he's the one that fainted. I can't remember EFCC boss fainting. Okay, I think he was stressed then, but I don't think he was fainting because of any drama or whatever. Nigerians internet amazing. Another person here says a country without law and order. See the small boy saying that he has appealed a judgment which was meant to put him behind bars immediately after it was delivered. He's not a small boy, please. He's a grown person. Even if he's just 18, let's assume he's just 18. In as much as he has been given the authority and given the responsibility, ignore the age. It's the office. And for the sake of the office, respect him. Okay, he's a grown man, he's occupying an office, and for the sake of the office, accord him the respect that you accord the office, because it's because of the office he's getting that respect. But a lot of Nigerians still believe that he has, if the verdict has been given, it should be executed before he appeals it. I feel also that the rate at which the judiciary is gradually being rubbished, they may need to find some sort of they're almost being seen as toothless. I think they should find a way around always executing. Now, in the case of the executive case study of EFCC, who would you tell to enforce such law? Maybe the police, and the police here is also a fraction of the executive. So the question is, how would the judiciary find a way of enforcing their law against the executive if this situation degenerates to this level? Now, these are the abnormalities you keep seeing in the three arms of government, because the judiciary depends on the executive to execute some of these COVID verdicts. Who's going to execute it now? Likelihood that he will not be in prison or he will not be going to kuje is very, very high. He will not be going. Even when I heard the verdict, I smiled. Okay, they may have a tangible reason for sending him to kuje prison, but in as much as the executive and is in Nigeria, it may go beyond just saying the word. There are powers that be. Okay, and unfortunately, that's where we find ourselves in as a country, where there's still some persons who still are above the law, one way or the other. But I feel that seeing the lapses of the judiciary on executing their plans, even if it has to do with the executive, then the judiciary may need to find a way of upgrading or updating their own arms such a way that if it now concerns the executive, they themselves within their rank and file should be able to effect such convict, or else consult mandates, or else they'll keep going back and forth in this light. I don't see the executive trying to, except if it's against themselves. Okay, they could use that to indict themselves, but if it's on this ground, it's almost as good as difficult for Bauer to be in kuje prison. It's almost difficult to do that. Another person here says, I can see a crack on our cabal war that took over government from Buhari. Okay, another person here says, state of lawlessness, this government of nepotism is not in our interest. Another person here says, so this ex-convict is still with his phone. You're calling him ex-convict, okay, but he didn't enter the prison, he's still appealing it. Another person here says, these guys are standing on the executive lawlessness, rascality, and gross impunity to do whatever they want with no penalty aside. I think, like I keep saying, they need to find a way around this. Let's interact.